'82, I was 17, my old man was 55. If you do the math between the two of us, that's 72 years of life. An eternity, so it seemed to me. How could anything live that long? Now I say my folks were only 84 the year that they passed on. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men who fought in the actual Civil War. And only 8 decades passed and my high school class put the tassels on the other side. Started on our way full of naivete on the great American ride. The months and years slide past, each more quickly than the last. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see 100 years ain't what it used to be. Oh, Johnny!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Johnny, hey! Oh, yeah!
He did the guitar face.
Ibuprofen's under buy again in my online shopping cart. Every week I learn of something else I should be doing for my heart. If I use the wrong pillow, I might have trouble getting out of bed.
Joe?
Yes.
I'm rolling.
Josh Arnold, investment consultant, brings you Garage Logic episode number 1636, October 9, 2025. The record high on this day was 86 degrees. That was in 1938. And on this day in 1895, she was 22.
Ooh.
Call Josh.
Well, I'm going to tell you to call.
Thinking about him.
To do yourself a favor and call Josh Arnold at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation.
Like King.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
Downtown St. Paul has something called the St. Paul Downtown Improvement District. And shockingly enough, that will cost more to run in 2026. So my idea would be you would improve downtown by getting rid of the Downtown Improvement District. Because they really haven't accomplished anything.
I say, what have they improved?
I don't know if you've seen it yet, but our former comrade here, Randy Meyer, who now works for Fox 9, has done a thing about downtown St. Paul. Have you seen this yet?
I have not.
No, but I would watch that.
I should
Randy's a
send
fan
it
of the
to
show.
you. Yeah, I should send it to you. It's not quite like a precarious state, but it's along the same lines.
I understand. How is everybody today?
You want to have Randy on?
Well, I think you should make me aware of seeing that first.
Gotcha.
Update from the airport. Our TSA people are showing up, and there are not long lines like there are elsewhere in the country.
Wonderful.
I have a question about
Matt,
that.
that's wonderful news, and I
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Positive
Now, I
Thursday.
want you to do some work for me.
Right out of the bat?
Say, okay.
shoot. Yeah, what do you got?
That's coming up later in this show. I've discovered that there's an ailment you suffer from when I ask you to do something.
Really, you're going to help me? You're going to improve my.
Basically, the whole staff suffers from it.
Oh, why are we
Okay.
being?
Well, you'll find out.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I have our answer to Eastcliff selling itself to itself. Something like that. Remember, Eastcliff sold itself.
Yes, sir.
And Rick Schmidberger. That's a neat
You're like
name,
the evil.
Schmidberger.
You're the evil genius that surrounds himself with idiots, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're going to stick a pencil
Literally,
in our eye,
literally.
and we're just incompetent. We never live up to your hopes and aspirations. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Well, I was saying that I thought Rick.
Always interrupting.
I thought I was saying that Rick Schmidberger has a neat last name. That's kind of a neat name, Schmidberger.
That sounds like a name Rookie would make up throughout the course of a
Right, that
conversation.
Hail the
calls him.
Flashlight King.
Hail you!
In regards to the sale of Eastcliff, for my research, the University of Minnesota Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and they hold a tax-exempt status from Ramsey County for property taxes. Like Reavers said, this has to be tax reasons. Did you actually say that, Reavers?
Yes, I did. I know it's
I
rare that
think-
anyone listens to me.
Right. I missed
What?
it.
Now I'm going to continue with his note.
Yeah.
I think the U of M is looking at the property taxes skyrocketing in St. Paul and said, to hell with this. It must be nice to be on the third rail, isn't it? I bet you that's it. I bet you that's it.
You know it
Makes
is.
sense.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
They don't want to have to pay the ridiculous property taxes in this town. They're horrible. They're not sustainable. Oh, I don't want to go down that road again, do I?
Don't worry. You got the St. Paul Downtown Improvement Group.
Yeah, where did I put that downtown improvement?
Oh, you're off of your game because your chair is on your left side and not on your right side.
Here it is. Let's leave it right there. Now, our governor, there's breaking news on the national scene. Now, two governors are running against Trump for governor of their state.
Oh, we've added one to the mix. Who's this?
Tim Walz is running against Donald Trump for governor of Minnesota. And apparently, Trump has so much stamina that he also will run against J.B. Pritzker in Illinois.
Okay.
So we have Pritzker and Walz are both running against Trump to be governors of Illinois and Minnesota.
Are you allowed to be two different governors in two different states?
Trump said he'd do it because he wants to.
Okay.
And that makes it legal,
All right.
apparently. Now, the latest with Walz is he thinks Trump is going to arrest him. So this really sweetens the pot he's creating to convince Minnesota voters that Trump is the foe in the governor's race. For sure. And now it's so bad
How bad
How
is it?
bad is it?
that Walz told an audience in Minneapolis Tuesday that he believes, because he criticizes Trump, and so does Pritzker, they're both running against Trump for governor, that could result in both of them being arrested. Okay. The Democratic governors of Minnesota and Illinois also said they fear the Trump administration will try to use military and National Guard troops to target blue cities in blue states during the run-up to the 2026 midterms, because they think that the Army's going to come in and prevent you from voting. So they're really painting a picture where they must be voted for to stop these horrific events. They describe, Pritzker and Walz describe Trump as a tyrant and an autocrat. Okay. And they did this during a 45-minute discussion they had with New York Times political reporter Lisa Lehrer. The conversation was part of the Star Tribune's inaugural North Star Summit at the Walker Art Museum. The event was the inspiration of Star Tribune CEO Steve Grove,
Oh, him.
who left the Walz administration in 2023 to lead the state's largest newspaper. The tickets range from $300 to $500. Okay, Lehrer from the New York Times probably had no idea where she was out here in the wilderness. What?
Would you like to hear it?
Hear what?
Walls, this correspondence that you're talking about.
Sure.
Okay.
They made this whole fund of $50 billion. Said,
to
see, we're
$1 trillion,
giving
yeah.
money to rural hospitals.
But you both joked about who's going to be arrested first. Do you both believe that you could sincerely be arrested?
Yes.
I'm asking any of you to come visit me in the gulag in El Salvador.
Yeah, that's what yes, I think in
You
all
do.
seriousness, yes.
You're a
You saw the
yes.
thing
You're
with
a
James
yes, it
Comey.
sounds like, yeah.
You see the same with James Comey. You see the representative who
Yes.
went to a detention facility, member of Congress, and look, they drug Governor Pritzker, myself, and Governor Hochul of New York in front of Congress. And I said, I don't think people notice this, the decorum of being a former member of Congress, which Governor Hochul and I were, but 3 sitting governors, 2 of them former members of Congress, being brought back to testify in front of Congress. I'm not sure, and I should go look this up or whatever, but the decorum is you would never swear in those governors because it's the respect given to someone who served in that institution. And not only did they swear us in, they spent the time belittling on things that had nothing to do with why they're there. So, yes, I think it's how easy. And I have not seen any, again, where are the Republican dissenters? And again, this example that the governor gave, Governor Abbott and all of the Republican governors were 100% on board that Joe Biden was misusing the National Guard by transferring the Space Force out of the National Guard into the active force. And
All right,
by doing so,
you know.
What the hell is he talking about?
Here's it could be just me, but I have a bit of a problem with this event. It's organized by Walz's lackey, who came from the Department of Economic Development to become the publisher of the Star Tribune. It's held at the Walker Arts Center, and they bring in a New York Times reporter to be the moderator. Well, what kind of event did you expect it to be? It was Trump, it was Walz and Pritzker having a campaign event for governor of their respective states against Trump. And you'll note as the year goes on that this will not cease. Walz has nothing positive to say that would reflect the efficiency and competence of his tenure as governor. We've been robbed blind. We've squandered a surplus. We're building an unnecessary new office building. There is nothing he can point to except Trump. I mean, he's on solid ground there. Trump would be an enemy of Walz. There's no doubt about it, and an enemy of Pritzker. But that isn't who the people of Minnesota need. That's not the information they need to select a governor. But that's all Walz has going for him. He's running against Trump.
Right.
And I really don't think Walz is going to be arrested. I just don't think that.
Neither does he, by the way. The problem is how many people actually believe him.
That's where I was going to go, Ken, because this is clearly such another example of him and other Democrats running on the absolute ignorance of so many people.
You know what might help, though? If the president wouldn't text that Pritzker should be arrested.
Right.
That might help. This
You mean tweet?
situation. Tweet, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I got curious, because there's flare-ups of trouble all over the country, and I got curious, and I looked at, I found the list of mayors for the 50 largest cities in the country. We're off the governors now, because the mayors are running against Trump, too. The 50 largest cities in the country, 42 mayors are Democratic out of the 50. 8 are Republican. There's a handful of independents. But the preponderance of governance in the 50 biggest cities in the country are Democratic. So one thing you hear Walz and Buddy Hackett say is that Trump only goes after blue states.
Cities.
Well, or cities. Well, that's because most of them are.
They're the ones with the highest level of crime.
Now, has there been trouble in New York?
I would say
I'll
so.
say.
How about Los Angeles?
Oh, yeah.
Those are 1 and 2 on the list. That's Eric Adams and
We
Karen,
should clarify, though.
Karen Bass.
New York has had some problems, but Mom Donnie's going to say, hold my beer.
Well, according to the Babylon Bee, to celebrate the October 7th anniversary of the Hamas attack on Gaza, on Jewish people in Gaza, he parachuted in. Boom, boom. Brandon Johnson in Chicago. Terrible problems. And it goes on and on and on and on. Now you go to, there's a Republican mayor in Dallas, Eric Johnson. I don't think Dallas has been making a great deal of news for ICE problems and...
Not to my knowledge.
All right. Then you go to, they're few and far between. There's only 8. You have a Republican mayor in Fort Worth, Texas, Maddie, a female, Maddie, M-A-T-T-I-E, Maddie Parker. I think Fort Worth's cruising along all right, isn't it? I'd be willing to be corrected. You have a Republican mayor in Oklahoma City, David Holt. I don't think Oklahoma City's been making many headlines. You have a Republican mayor in Fresno, California, Jerry Dyer. I don't know that Fresno's been making a lot of headlines. You have a Republican mayor in Mesa, Arizona. That's one of the 50 biggest cities in the country, Mesa? Wow. St. Paul doesn't even make this list, by the way.
Really?
List of mayors of the 50 largest cities in the U.S. And Mark Freeman in Mesa is a Republican. I haven't seen a lot of news about Mesa. Bobby Dyer, and finally the last... no, not the last.
Mesa, Arizona has a market size characterized by a large and growing population with an estimated 515,000 people that live in Mesa. Well, Arizona is absolutely exploding right now.
Virginia Beach, Virginia has a Republican mayor. Bobby Dyer. Is Virginia Beach constantly in the news?
Nope.
And Miami has a Republican mayor, Francis Suarez. You were just in Miami. Mm-hmm. What did it feel functioning and vibrant? And
I did not see. I didn't fear for my life at all. I didn't see. There's a couple of homeless people.
Was it an active downtown scene?
Unbelievably active. Saturday night, it's just like they were cruising the streets. It was very festive.
A lot of shootings?
No, there were not a lot of shootings.
ICE protests?
Didn't see one ICE protest.
And then finally, Karen Goh, G-O-H, is the mayor of Bakersfield, California. And those are your mayors, and they...
You were asking, Joe, for comparison's sake, St. Paul under the last census was 308,000, so it is 207,000
St. Paul
shy.
doesn't make the list.
68.
Fry made the list.
St. Paul is 68 on the list. Yeah. Minneapolis is...
They made the top 50.
I just had it 46.
Yeah. So, and I don't know the answer to this, and I'm not asking it facetiously. Do the Democratic mayors of the country, 42 of the largest 50 cities, do they want there to be just no borders and just anything you want? I don't know the answer to that. I'm serious. What do they want? What does Walz want for the state of Minnesota? Fry, I think, is on board with being anti-ICE, although he's not as anti-ICE as Omar Fateh. Omar Fateh is running for mayor against Donald Trump.
Can he be governor and mayor?
Yeah. So Trump could end up being the governor and the mayor of Minneapolis.
So wait, so he would be president.
Yeah.
He'd be the governor of Minnesota.
He's really good with his time.
He'd be the mayor of Minneapolis.
Right.
He'd be the governor of Illinois.
He'd be the governor of a lot of travel involved.
Man.
Yeah.
That's a lot of hats to wear at one time.
It is.
If anybody can do it, he can.
Yeah. But what do they want? Are we to not have borders?
I don't know what they want.
We need borders.
And the thing is, as Kenny mentioned, I don't think they know what they want. They just want to remain in office.
We know they like crime.
I don't know if it's they like it or it's a useful tool for their end game, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Why?
What's the DSA end game? Well, it's government control of the economy would be the basic answer. Now,
So how does crime running amok help that?
turning it into chaos, and the government must step in to control things.
There you go.
So you expand the governorship, you expand the size of government. But in the 50 largest cities, let's go back to the basics. If there is trouble in democratically run cities, unfortunately, many of them infiltrated with DSA people, could it be that part of the problem is that there's a lot of defund the police movers and shakers in these 42 cities? Because public safety is the mainstay of providing some stability in America. And if public safety is on the brink in many cities because not enough, Minneapolis, for example, 300 officers short of their complement, their full complement. If the lack of police and the holding law enforcement in contempt, the way it's done here by Mary Moriarty and the DSA City Council, if they hold law enforcement in contempt, lawlessness will be common.
Well, remember what he told Rubin or what Rubin told you, what O'Hara told him. We just don't have enough resources.
Right. They're short, and the DSA people do not want to spend money. That you have terribly young, inexperienced people determining a $2 million budget for the city. Now complicate that by their arsonists, and that's giving them matches, and they're not going to spend the money where the money is needed to ensure a sound, safe American city.
Right.
They're going to use the money to continue to turn Minneapolis into something from the mystery.
And once again, the bad guys know this.
Yeah. Okay.
What you got?
You can find out a lot of this stuff at the Center of the American Experiment. I check them every day. I have some news on them. I'll give you that right after the break here. But if you care about what's really going on in Minnesota, from education to energy to public safety, the American Experiment is the place to check in. They dig into stories the mainstream media do not, like the real cost behind free school meals or how radical new K-12 standards are reshaping classrooms. Our kids don't read and do math, but they really got all the other stuff down.
Children's don't learns.
Mm-mm.
You know a stat I'd like, and I bet the American Experiment could provide it. Now, you'd have to do a lot of math to make it fair. But how many kids who attend private Catholic grade schools in this country change their gender, as opposed to how many kids in this country attend public grade schools? Now, again, you'd have to figure out the math, because obviously there are far fewer Catholic grade schools than
you do a percentage then.
Public grade schools.
A percentage-based survey.
I bet it would be a surprising statistic.
Yeah.
In any event, head over to theamericanexperiment.org and see for yourself. That's americanexperiment.org.
2, 3, 4.
The Earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Positive Thursday at the Garage Logic Podcast, like always, brought to us by Schoonover Body Works and Auto Care in Shoreview, 1060 County Road E. Fourth generation Schoonover Mike. He's busy today. No, Mike is third. Matthew, his son, is fourth generation. They're both busy. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm going solo. But instead of going solo, I thought that a lot of us here could gossip about the shop. Now, out of the 5 of us here on the podcast, you should take that banner off, Chris, so you can see all of us, because we're all going to be speaking here.
I never get to use the Schoonover banner.
All of the 5 of us here, 9 of us are actually customers of Schoonover. Yeah. So I'm counting Gabe, Matthew's son. I'm counting Dill, John's son, my son, Ben. And how many different...
My neighbor.
Yeah. How many family members, though, of you, Joe, have plagued Schoonover with minor weird issues?
2.
I'm at 3.
So we're at 10.
Yeah.
And all of us, I think Matthew, myself, John, Chris, we've had normal issues.
And
body
we don't get
stuff.
a discount, by the way.
Right. We pay full price.
We just like the work they do.
The point is, the 4 of us have normal issues: body stuff, crashes, engines, oil changes, tires. Joe's stuff is all weird. It's all weird, crazy stuff that the weird guy down the block would go to Schoonovers for, and most shops would go, beat it, pal.
I got to put on my winter tires one of these days.
Well, that's
They
so
store
weird.
my summer tires for me.
But you have stuff like, I've got a spot of rust there in front of that wheel.
I don't have any rust at all.
Could you take care of that?
That's
Or
not gonna
my
happen.
rim has got a scratch on it.
That
Could you
I
deal
have
with
had
that?
taken care of.
I've got a coat hanger hanging up my exhaust pipe. Could you fix that?
That's not going to happen with me either.
All of your stuff is weird. My point here is, and Gabe, you've had a lot of work done there.
I have had thousands of dollars work done there.
How'd that
Probably
work
as
out
much as
for
the
you?
Cars. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Don't have a single complaint. And I can't say that about a lot of the other places I've taken a car before I knew Schoonover was the best place to go.
But the problem is when they finished his car, where they parked it in such a location that everybody saw it, they didn't want him to leave. They wanted him to stay and leave the
good
car there.
advertising.
Yes.
But Gabe made a really good point. These guys treat our vehicles, your vehicles, like they're their own. These are people you can trust. They're not going to throw a little something on the bill that you won't notice. They're honest. They do amazing work. And that is why they are the official shop of Garage Logic. We all go there. We all love them. It's worth the drive to Shoreview. You can find, here's where you start. Just go to the website, schoonoverbodyworks.com.
I just want to know, I want to let you guys know, full disclosure, I received a major discount when I got my work done. I don't know about you guys, but I was basically for free.
I was just telling you. I was just telling you about the Center of the American Experiment, and I'm reading a piece that Bill Walsh had on the site today. The center raised 63 times more money from grassroots donors. Those would be contributions under $200 in 2024. 60 times more money than the Minnesota DFL party. What does that matter today? Because the DFL issued a press release yesterday calling American Experiment a right-wing propaganda and lobbying machine with ties to Charles Koch and many billionaires around the country. And Walsh says, if only that were true. In 2024, American Experiment raised $378,898 from donors who gave less than $200. The state DFL party raised $6,000 from donors who gave less than $200 in 2024.
Oh, that's interesting.
American Experiment is 63 times as much grassroots organization as the DFL party. And if the American Experiment is a right-wing propaganda machine, then the DFL party is a left-wing propaganda machine. The left continues to win that battle where they get to call everybody else right-wingers.
Right.
When it comes to them, they want to have a normal salutation.
There's no
No,
reciprocation.
you're a left-wing propaganda machine. Including the $6,000 in grassroots donations, the DFL raised $10.5 million in 2024, directly and indirectly for millionaires and billionaires from around the country. The list includes, but is not limited to, Alita Messenger, Rockefeller, George Soros, Vance Opperman, J.B. Pritzker, a.k.a. Buddy Hackett, Gideon Friedman, Barry Munger, Quinn Delaney, Gideon Friedman, Susan Mandel, Lisa Manette, Sarah O'Neill, and Eric Schmidt. With over 10,000 donors so far in 2025, American Experiment continues to be the largest grassroots organization in the state. They remain open to receiving we remain open to receiving any donations, large or small, from Charles Koch or any other billionaires from around the country, just the way the DFL does. I thought that was great. They put that DFL, that's a right wing, that's
Let's
a left
go.
wing. I have stumbled onto a great thought that aids us in understanding the decline of moral and ethical integrity in the country, insofar as the decline might be represented by less and less of a grasp on responsibility. You with me so far?
Yes.
You see a lot of lack of just people taking personal responsibility. They always have an excuse for something. Rook, I want you to look something up for me.
Okay.
No, Rook, look something up for me.
All right. Now?
Yeah.
I'm looking at a menu right now. I'll get out of it.
You have a disease.
Oh.
It's called
Don't give a shititis?
No. It's called
something else.
Pathological demand avoidance.
Pathological demand avoidance. I'm liking the sound of it.
When you're asked to do something, you come up with reasons you can't, and therefore you get away with not doing it.
I wouldn't call that an illness.
Sometimes it's called
a skill.
Sometimes it's called pervasive drive for autonomy.
I don't know what that means, but if I can get a prescription for that,
It's a resistance to everyday demands.
Yes. Why are you nodding? Why is my son nodding?
But here's the deal. Here's the deal. This is in the Daily Mail. It's one of their ridiculous stories, but they're on to something. It's the story of somebody. There's a group apparently called McFly, a rock and roll band. And McFly,
Marty McFly.
McFly, drummer's child, has pathological demand avoidance. And this became a story. I know nothing about McFly or
So when
the
they
drummer.
go to him for the drum solo, he just stops. He just puts the sticks
He said,
up.
I'm not doing it.
Starts eating a hero sandwich.
What intrigued me was the discovery that there are people out there willing to call. So you tell your kid, pick up that mess you just made with your Barbies.
Yep.
And they say, no. That's just not a bratty kid anymore.
No.
The bratty kid's been excused by able to hang on the kid, a medical term.
But that's in its infancy. Once you understand what you're doing, you don't just say no.
Once you hone the skill.
Once you hone the skill, you give a sidetrack. You sidetrack that person. You don't just say no. You say, I will, but I've got to run and change the.
Okay, but that's when it grows into pathological avoidance syndrome.
So there's steps.
But no, you're missing the point. We're coming up with excuses for everyone.
I got it.
What?
I know why this bothers you.
Why?
This is akin to when you and Pat had an absolute meltdown about these extensive diagnoses with baseball injuries.
It's part of it.
You're making stuff up that never existed 20 years ago.
Bilateral
leg weakness.
It was thoracic outlet syndrome, and Joe had an absolute...
What? There is no such thing!
Exactly! That's what this is.
Which led to Mauer's wife having bilateral egg weakness.
The twins.
Let me tell you something.
It's
It's uncanny. No matter what you come up with, you can invent an impressive sounding medical term for it. Try me.
Are you going to create the term, or you want us to give you an ailment?
An obsession with pencils.
Okay, that is
true.
An obsession with pencils would be.
Come on, Stumpy.
You didn't really think this one out, did you, cowboy?
An appreciation of. I would do something with lead. It's not. See, the key is No, I would not have an obsession with pencils. That would be called. I have a.
I got
Can
you.
I interrupt?
No,
Stimul-
I got you. AI is amazing for things just like this. There is no specific name syndrome for a pencil obsession, but
What?
it could be related to papyrophilia, a love of stationery.
That's it. I got papyrophilia.
Never mind any of that. I think what you're trying to say is by doing this, it enables that person or others and gives credibility to their stupid dysfunction, which shouldn't have credibility.
Thank you. Exactly.
And I saw it recently with this guy that was enrolled, this 22-year-old that was enrolled in
at
high
White Bear
school.
Lake High School.
And his defenders called it age dysphoria.
Yes.
Which to
exactly.
me was enabling this guy and making it legitimate and not the freak that should be in jail that he is.
You're seeing
Right?
it. You're seeing it with all these 48 genders we have.
Yeah.
You're seeing it everywhere you look. Any behavioral. Now, here's the question that begs to be answered. What constitutes normalcy? Nothing.
That's
Nothing would constitute normalcy if you can keep inventing BS to describe the reluctance to be responsible for something.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to give it a name to excuse it, rather than just say the kid's a jerk. He didn't put away his Barbies.
Not that this happens, because
Why is
it
the boy
wouldn't
playing
in my
Barbies?
situation, but it would be as though the mother of the child who refuses to pick up her Barbie mess said, what would she say?
She doesn't have to do that because
Oh, he's
she
scatterbrained or something like that.
She has avoidance demand or issues. Really? What's that mean? Well, when you ask her to do something, she becomes very tense and anxious and has a bit of contrariness and doesn't want to do it. So what is that? That's not the case with me. I make the kid pick it up. If that's the case, how can that little person get through life?
Right.
That little person, if she's excused from a basic responsibility that we would all, as GLers, consider that falls under the heading of normalcy, if the kid is allowed to skate over that, where does the buck stop? And we're seeing it in a declining culture.
Is it a generational thing? Is this the children of Gen Xers? Or even younger people? Is this the result of participation trophies?
That's part of it, but a persuasive drive for autonomy dates back to British psychologist Dr. Elizabeth Newson in the 1980s to describe children who wouldn't pick up their stuff.
Yeah.
Is this reverse psychology where?
Well, they tell you how the best way to handle this is low pressure and flexibility that give the child more autonomy, using indirect language, humor, and collaboration rather than strict rules or commands. So, in other words, you got to come up with some bleeping invention
Joe,
to get the kid to pick something up.
I don't know about you, but I have memories of myself sitting at the supper table hours after supper had ended because I'm not eating whatever that garbage is on my plate. And eventually, guess who won? Mom and Dad.
Yeah. You know, I
now, little Susie, how I wouldn't even been able to dream up the BS to get the kid to pick something up.
All right, if you told me, Rook, I want you to look something up.
And you've resisted for 40 years.
But if you say, Rook, I don't want you to look this up because I want you to pay attention to the show, I'm all over it.
Right.
But, Joe, do you think that a kid could get away with this? Like, maybe the grandkids you're referring to think they can get away with this with their mom and dad, but do they think they can get away with it with you?
Well, of course they can.
Are you making a political statement or
really?
you have your hand up?
So they think that they can get away with the same crap with you that they can with their parents.
I got a 2-year-old who, when she leaves the house, says, "Bye, butt face."
Oh, wow! I love that.
Well,
kid.
she learned that from the four of
She
us.
got that from the yeah.
You know, I hate to be this guy. Actually, I don't hate to be this guy, but I think you're missing the point here entirely, Joe.
Yeah.
Think of what this condition that Matthew has been suffering from for all these years.
Pathological demand avoidance.
Think of what it's done for you. It's been an inspiration. And Anna, you want to know why?
Why?
You would never have the story of him measuring his head.
Yeah.
You would also never have the catchphrase, "One day closer."
Yeah.
Maybe you should.
One day
Maybe you
closer
should
right now.
throw on the brakes there, Chris.
Of course,
That's hitting a little too close.
of course, we have to throw in autism here.
You yourself are.
Oh,
quite
of course.
guilty of
Yeah,
this,
of course. Matthew just had a longer run with the mayor than I have.
So, in other words, what you have shrinks out there willing to do, and parents willing to buy it, is that they're willing to come up with anything that excuses a lack of responsibility.
Why though? Why do they need to do that?
Because we've lost the hot burning coal of what it means to be human.
You know what? These are the people I see on the freeway cams in the morning that can't change a tire. I'm sorry. These are the same people.
The parents don't want to be accused of lazy parenting. Let's say a parent brings their kid over to some other house and the two little kids have a playtime.
Okay.
And then when they leave, the mom who brought the kid over says, "Elizabeth, help Judy pick that stuff up." No, she doesn't want to be accused of lazy parenting, so she'll turn to her friend and say, "Elizabeth, we're looking into her psychopathic avoiding demands because underneath that lies some anxiety, and we're working on that." Rather than say, "Get your ass over there and pick that stuff
Pick up
up."
the blocks.
Boom.
Okay, Mayor of Garage Logic. How are we going to change this?
Well, I don't know that it's even in our purview to change it. We have enough on our plate
Well,
to
we
change.
can't just sit here and bitch about it. We have to offer
I'm not
solutions.
as you so crudely put it. I'm not so sure I'm bitching about it. I'm making an observation.
What would you call it?
Yeah, let's take a vote.
Yeah.
Bloviating.
I'm bloviating. Thank you. I'm bloviating.
Yes.
There you go.
I'm bloviating that this is B as in B, S as in S.
All right, Joe.
The kid won't pick something up. The kid's a slob. End
Well,
of story.
I think we should offer solutions, and one of my solutions is upside the head to that kid.
No, I'm not going to say that. I don't want kids hit.
That's
I draw the
50
line.
years too late for that.
Well, I don't care if a parent spanks a kid, but I don't want teachers hitting kids. I told you that. I've been through this. Because I was hit all the time, and that's fine. Didn't bother me.
No, not at all.
Didn't do any good. Has it made you a neurotic mess?
Completely
Here's-
normal.
Truth be told, in full disclosure, the only kids I ever saw that got tagged were the ones that deserved it. I never got hit.
I'm sure I did deserve it.
Oh, what'd you do? No, brother, you're wrong.
No.
See you next summer,
Lenny.
Lenny.
Yes.
But I didn't want my kids to be hit,
I see.
and they're fine.
Yeah.
They have a demand avoidance.
No,
but,
their kids call you butt face.
Yeah, they do. And that's fine too. I don't care, because see, if under this topic, if one of these screwball parents heard a kid say to somebody, "Goodbye, butt face," they'd probably think they had a problem.
Sure.
That's not a problem. The kid's being a smartass. That's not a problem.
Goes with the
They're
territory.
supposed to be.
Right. Did we solve anything there?
We didn't solve anything except we are dreaming up ways to avoid personal responsibility.
That is true.
And we're giving them medical and psychological terms, and it's absolutely absurd.
Well, sometimes I think honesty helps, like the day where I was minding my own business, laying on my hotel bed, and you called and told me to get down to the state capitol, and I simply said to you, no.
Yeah.
No.
That's demand avoidance.
No, that's just having a sturdy
that was
constitution.
just Kenny, and all that meant
not-
for me is I had to call somebody else.
Not putting up with your nonsense.
Yeah, well, that's fine. What am I doing here?
Buttface, what do you got here? What are you going to tell us about?
I'm going to tell you to get your garage door fixed.
Making noise, Buttface?
That's not for you. That's for her.
Oh, we don't have
See, now
that.
my
freedom.
avoidance syndrome is kicking in.
No.
Whatever you called it.
God help me.
What do you got there, Joe?
I just want you to take care of your garage door while the weather's good. Trying to do you a favor.
Help me.
You don't want to stand out there in the dead of winter and that baby has failed on you. If you need a new door, call Precision Door or go online, precisiondoormn.com. They have models for doors for every budget, and right now GLers get $100 off a single door, $200 off a new double door. They send out a designer that's free. You can increase the value of your home, save energy, provide better security. If you love your current door and she's working fine, but she's getting a little noisy, making some racket, you might want to book a noisy door tune-up special for $149. This special includes a 25-point safety inspection and diagnostic. Get ready for the cooler weather ahead. Annual maintenance reduces future wear and breakdowns of your garage door. Book online at precisiondoormn.com or call Precision Door at 612-263-6985 to schedule your free on-site new door estimate or book a noisy door tune-up special with Precision Door.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
Let's talk about We Are Nuts and WeAreNutsMN.com, a wonderful family-owned operation based right here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Great hand batch snacks that you can select for yourself at WeAreNutsMN.com. I'm trying to pull up an email that I got. Here we go. This was from Stuart. Hi, Chris. The other week, I decided to renew my membership at the New Richland Sportsman's Club and went to the local Muni to get my paperwork and pay for the card. As I was completing my transaction, I looked to my left, only to find myself staring into a jar of maple bourbon toffee almonds. Here is my opportunity to finally try them all to myself. They are good. Oh, they are very good. Sadly, they didn't last very long. So I went to We Are Nuts website thinking of ordering more and noticed the Nut Finder drop-down menu. Well, New Richmond is the next town west of me, but I rarely make that trip. I typed in the zip code for Owatonna and found 2 places that I could get them on my way home, neither being places that I frequent ever. The drop-down menu continued with places near Owatonna, and the first on the list was Steve's Meats in Ellendale. Perfect! I've been to Steve's Meats in Ellendale, by the way. That's a great stop. Anywho, We Are Nuts is the great place to select your snacks. And you know what? Right now is a great time to order those holiday tins for your employees, for your staff, for clients, whatever it is. It's a wonderful family-run operation, as Joe's looking at his watch. And you can see for yourself, just like Stuart did, at WeAreNutsMN.com.
Here's John Haidt.
Thank you, Joe. This news brought to you by North American Banking Company. I should confess, when you start saying any mention of music, you lose me for a while. So I went and looked up McFly because apparently it was their drummer.
Their kid's got avoidance demand disorder.
They're huge in Great Britain.
Never heard of them.
They had #1 albums in 2004, 2005. In 2020, a #2 album, a #2 album in 2023. 18 top 10 hits and 7 #1 singles since 2004.
They also, Rook, help me. Didn't they have a help with his cousin
You're not supposed to
Barry?
do that. You're not supposed to do that. Johnny, you got to do the news here. Let's go.
I'd rather talk music.
I know, but we're not talking McFly.
It's your cousin Marvin.
They are named after the movie characters. You probably figure out. So
Back to the Future.
Yeah. All right. Let's move along here, shall we? To the serious stuff. In news, a letter with more than 750 signatures of Minnesota clergy delivered to Governor Walz yesterday, urging him to call a special session on gun violence and specifically a ban on assault-style weapons. The clergy who assembled on the steps of the Capitol say they'll do the same thing for several days. Doug Mork, an associate pastor at Holy Trinity Lutheran Church, saying, knowing it's a complex issue, there's really a moral imperative to begin to make some progress on some things. The governor said it might be a waste of time to hold a special session if nothing is done to address gun issues. He says he will take part in town hall meetings about gun violence. In a statement released after the governor's comments, Republican House Speaker Lisa Damuth said her caucus is willing to go into special session without a prior agreement. She said, I've told the governor all along that if he calls a special session, Republicans will show up. What we will not do is agree to pass a gun ban that hasn't been written and so far has no level of detail that we can even discuss. Former state trooper has pleaded guilty in a child pornography production case. Jeremy Plonsky entered guilty pleas to 1 count of producing child pornography and 1 count of distributing child pornography. Additional counts of each offense will be dismissed at sentencing. Minnesota State Patrol Colonel Christina Bogojevic confirmed that Plonsky has been terminated. Authorities said that Plonsky sexually assaulted an infant and wore his state trooper and Army reservist uniforms while committing the crimes. He sent videos of the assaults to a user. A sentencing in the federal case has not yet been set. He was also charged in Scott County with 1 count of first-degree criminal sexual conduct of a person under the age of 14. It's unclear at this point how Plonsky's guilty plea in federal court will impact the state's case against him.
I have a question about that, John, because I was highly disturbed by all of it. Whether it's that or the gal in Northfield, why are we offering plea deals to these people that really, really should not be roaming amongst us?
There's no need to lock anybody up.
But but this isn't many. I mean, I don't get it. What?
I don't know.
All right.
Anoka County is suing the Department of Transportation. They're trying to block $6.2 million of transportation grant money from going toward a pedestrian bridge over the Rum River Dam in Anoka. The bridge is championed by DFL House Leader Representative Zach Stevenson, would be just the first piece of a larger installation that would eventually include a lock for boats and a whitewater surfing area. The estimated cost for the entire project, $55 million. In 2023, the legislature established a 0.75% transportation sales tax to fund county projects like road replacements and safety fixes. Anoka County Attorney Brad Johnson said Stevenson misused the legislative process to divert more than half of the county's share of the tax revenue to the city of Anoka for what he called a pet project, rather than to address infrastructure projects that benefit the county at large. Spokesperson for Stevenson declined to comment on the lawsuit, instead pointed out the measure was included as part of a larger transportation bill which passed the bipartisan support in both chambers of the legislature. However, during debate on the House floor back in June, Republicans representing Anoka County staunchly opposed the use of the county's transportation funds to finance a pedestrian bridge crossing over the Rum River within a quarter-mile span. That would be the third pedestrian crossing in a quarter-mile span.
Shouldn't we worry about pedestrian bridges, boat parking, and river surfing when absolutely everything else has been taken care of?
You would think. Yeah.
Absolutely everything else.
Last on the list.
And you got so much money laying around, you think, you know what? What the hell? Let's go surfing on the Rum River.
Well, the other great part about this, and I know you guys probably haven't spent a lot of time in downtown Anoka, that area is beautiful right now where the dam is. Perfect place just to go visit.
I can't picture where this dam is.
It's right on, if you drive through Main Street, Anoka, where all the businesses are and everything, before you get to 169.
I see.
It's right there, and it's gorgeous. There's a lovely park there. They have
perfect.
They have small bands and stuff there in summertime.
Yeah,
you can wander around Anoka with a beer bottle in your hand.
Yep.
What a great
Stevenson's
town.
trying to steal your taxpayer money.
Yeah, you don't need this.
No, this is not needed.
As a news guy, I'm not supposed to do that editorializing.
No, you can't. Everything else has to be taken care of. Yeah. Lowering taxes, getting fiscally sound, everything has to be done. Then you worry about going surfing on the river.
So you're saying downtown Anoka much different than downtown Andover? That's a concept.
Much more fun.
If I was living in Minneapolis and I didn't like it, I would move to Anoka.
Well,
it seems like a cool
okay,
spot.
Kenny.
We don't want you. Sorry, Kenny. Don't take it personally.
But don't worry,
Kenny, we'd take you in Jordan.
Can we continue?
Sure.
Please. By all means.
I think we all, I've talked to all of you here. We all shop at Quick Trip, correct?
I'm a big Quick Trip fan.
I love it.
Yes. Well, if you do, you can now leave your pennies at home.
Really?
The La Crosse, Wisconsin-based chain has become
I've
the first
been there.
Major convenience store to begin phasing out the use of the penny. It will now, if you use cash, instead round purchases down to the nearest 5 cents.
Oh, boy.
According to a company news release. That move follows a directive from the president earlier this year ordering the Treasury Department to stop minting pennies, citing their nearly 3-cent production cost for every penny.
The president of Quick Trip ordered the pennies?
No, the president.
Oh, I see.
Of the United
I don't think
States.
he has that kind of power.
Right.
Well, neither does the president of the U.S., actually. Only Congress can actually eliminate the form of the currency, and they have now introduced a bill to get rid of the penny.
See, I'm not anti-penny. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, but when it costs 3 cents to make a cent, you're just wait. So the previous story, you're mad that we're wasting government
that's
money.
Millions to build a surfing tower.
Okay,
surfing.
Boy, it's hard.
Yeah, wait a
Surfing
minute.
USA.
Joe has a point here. Why do we even need to make more pennies? Number one, don't we have enough?
We got enough pennies.
We got enough pennies.
We're not. We're stopping minting pennies. That's the whole.
But we still
gist of
can
the
use
story.
them.
But we can still use them. I mean,
Well,
Trump's not going to outlaw
Not
the penny.
everyone's going to go the
right?
Quick Trip
I'm not.
way.
Yeah, I'm not going to get arrested for trying to use
no,
a penny.
of course not.
That's right.
Because take one, leave one.
That's right.
Yeah, he's kind of missed the whole point of this story, but that's okay. Quick Trip says
Why
the
are
move...
you trying to rile us up with this penny hatred of yours, John Hyde?
If you think I'm doing that now, wait till we get to the national stuff. Hear what I have to say. Quick Trip says the move has created a shortage of pennies across its stores. As a result, the company plans to remain penny-free until a permanent legislative solution is in place. Quick Trip has about 12 million weekly customers who actually use cash. So, Joe, you're not alone.
Boy, I'm not.
12 million. Customers who opt for credit or debit cards, well, you'll still have to pay the exact amount on your bill.
See, a cash person is rewarded here.
It's true. Yes, I mean, you're correct. You could save 2-3 cents.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Why don't we take a quick break here? Some national and international news after we hear from the mayor of Garage Logic, who has a big announcement for us.
Oh, boy.
You love how I waited to hand it to him because I knew the second I handed it to him, he would read it in the middle of the newscast.
Well, let's go up Johnny Heights way.
Oh, yeah.
We have a new GLer of the week.
Who's that, Joe?
Gets the maple syrup.
Yep.
Masters Maples. Larry Arneson of Champlin.
Hey, Larry.
Right on, Larry.
Where do you live? Are your current address?
Here is his address for the prize
Nope.
pack.
Here's the
Okay.
last address that we have.
Yeah.
Let's hope he still lives
This
there.
guy might live in Hawaii. We have no idea. Fantastic. Congratulations, Larry Arneson of Champlin. You are this week's GLer of the week, and you'll be getting that gift box from Masters Maple.
we go.
I
Okay. Sorry,
Never
Ken.
mind.
I'll ask you off the air.
Okay.
Sure. We'll save it. Here's a guy.
Here's a guy.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Souchere.
Hofferman Water and Connecticut is here to solve all of your water emergency needs. And here's the thing. You got to get on that schedule first and foremost and have them come out for that free water analysis. You do that one of two ways. You can go to their website, which is HoffermanWater.com, and as long as you're on that website, you can see every single water treatment system that they have to offer, or call them directly at 612-895-2440. You know, it's funny, because they cut down on your salt usage, I bought 10 bags of softener salt from the baseball fundraiser in Jordan, realizing, well, this is going to last me like 5 years because that's how little salt we use because of Hofferman Water and Connecticut. And it has made an amazing difference in the quality of my water. And it will do that for you as well, because I started out as a customer of Hofferman Water and Connecticut. So once again, call them directly, 612-895-2440, or visit HoffermanWater.com. Hofferman Water has been proudly serving the state of Minnesota for over 50 years. Do me a favor and mention that you heard about them on the Garage Logic podcast. Johnny?
Thank you, Chris. In national and international news, the first step in a phased deal between Hamas and Israel to end the war in the Gaza Strip has been reached, according to President Trump. The announcement comes one day after the second anniversary of that attack by Hamas and other Hamas-led groups that killed nearly 1,200 Israelis. While full details have yet to be released, the deal reportedly follows a 20-point plan from the Trump administration. It would see the return of 48 hostages, about 20 whom are believed to still be alive. In exchange, Israeli forces would begin a withdrawal from the 140-square-mile region, with aid beginning to flow to its 2 million residents and Palestinian prisoners returned by Israel. The prisoner release could happen as soon as Monday if the plan is actually implemented. Even with the agreement expected to be finalized later today, Israeli strikes continuing, with explosions being seen Thursday in northern Gaza. There were no immediate reports of damage or casualties. The president is undergoing a medical exam at the end of the week, according to a statement released this morning from the White House. The White House called Friday's visit a routine yearly checkup, but it's the second time this year that the president will have an exam at the medical center. Back in April, he underwent what was called a routine exam, where his doctor said he was in excellent health. The Pentagon has investigated nearly 300 Defense Department employees, including service members, civilian workers, and contractors, for comments appearing online after last month's shooting death of Charlie Kirk, according to documents reviewed by the Washington Post. The sweeping ongoing inquiry, which has resulted in a smattering of disciplinary action so far, follows the directive by the department's political leadership to silence criticism of the prominent figure who was unabashed in his views and support for President Trump. Pete Hegseth and his political staff have argued forcefully that speech celebrating or mocking the Turning Point USA founder's death is itself an illicit partisan activity subject to disciplinary action up to and including termination.
Getting back to Trump's physical, I bet this time he'll also be in excellent health. I'm just going out on a limb.
Tremendous health?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good bet. President Trump spent part of yesterday afternoon hosting a roundtable that highlighted the impact of Antifa protesters. The roundtable included administration officials and influencers who have been on the ground in Portland and other cities with demonstrations. Democratic leaders have said they don't want National Guard on their streets in those areas because they say it's not necessary. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem rejected that assertion after meeting with the Oregon governor and Portland mayor. The president has said he plans to designate Antifa as a major terrorist organization. It's not clear, though, how that would work. There is no organized Antifa group, no headquarters, and no named leaders.
Was Christie photographed standing on a tank or anything like that?
She was on one of the roofs. Was that yesterday?
Yeah.
She had an entire camera crew with lighting and everything with
Did she have her helmet on and vest and everything?
No.
All right.
No, she didn't. There is a lawsuit against ICE in Chicago, accusing them of using violent force because a reverend was apparently hit by some rubber bullets. The American Civil Liberties Union of Illinois filed the lawsuit this week, accusing ICE of escalating violence against protesters outside an ICE facility in Broadview, Illinois. You've probably seen the videos that are all over social media from a protest a couple of weeks ago. It includes shots of the Reverend David Black being shot and pepper sprayed, hit at one point with a pellet projectile from a roof. Black has posted video himself from the incident, accusing agents of assaulting him. He's the pastor of the Presbyterian Church of Chicago.
Who was the hell-raising priest in Chicago? His name escapes me.
In the old days?
Huh?
In the old days, you mean?
No, within the past 10 years.
Oh.
Shoot. I wonder if he's even alive. I can't think of his name.
I actually have a really simple idea on how we can avoid situations just like this.
I don't think we should have borders. I just think let everybody be.
Well, how about let's just stop protesting and let ICE do its job?
Either that or abandon ICE and just have as many people come into the country as you want.
Father Gork?
No.
Grork?
No, never mind. I'll know it if I hear it.
Year-end figures from the Congressional Budget Office were released yesterday. The Wall Street Journal reporting control of the White House changed, but the budget picture has pretty much stayed the same. U.S. collected $195 billion in customs duties, more than double the prior year. That doesn't capture the full jump because tariff rates only ramped up in April, halfway through the year, so there should be more money coming in from that. By one CBO metric, net interest on the public debt, though, topped $1 trillion for the first time, more than the country spent on Medicare or defense. For every $5 the government collected in taxes, about $1 went to pay interest. As the Trump administration started, Elon Musk claimed his Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, could achieve $2 trillion in savings. That didn't happen and didn't come close. DOGE did claw back some grants and fire some probationary employees. Some savings will show up later as federal workers who accepted deferred resignations drop off government payrolls, but the numbers don't really show much savings at all from DOGE, according to the new numbers. Typically, the budget deficit increases during recessions and shrinks during economic expansions. This time it's different. The deficit came in at $1.8 trillion for 2025, virtually unchanged from 2024, despite a still expanding economy.
Father Michael Pfleger of Chicago.
I think that's
His
him.
decades-long career been marked by activism and controversy.
That's him. Is he with us still?
I'll look.
Mm-hmm.
Federal auto safety regulators have opened yet another investigation into Tesla's so-called full self-driving technology after dozens of incidents in which its vehicles ran red lights or drove on the wrong side of the road, sometimes crashing into other vehicles.
Gee, who could have seen this coming?
Wow.
National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said in a filing dated Tuesday it has 58 incident reports of Tesla vehicles violating traffic safety laws while operating in full self-driving mode. In reports to regulators, many of the Tesla drivers said the cars gave them no warning about the unexpected behavior.
He's 76 and still with us.
Good. Do you know what I would have done about immigration? I would have said we're securing the borders and no one is coming into the country without a thorough legal process. In the meantime, those of you who are here, please go to the nearest government office, whether it's a mayor's office or a city hall, wherever you are. Tell them who you are and you want to be put on a list to begin your studies for citizenship. And you're good. We're not coming after anybody. You're here. You got in here. You're the last group that's getting in the way you did. Our borders are now secure. No one else is getting in. Please start your citizenship process as soon as possible. And in the meantime, you would slow the people coming into an absolute trickle because the borders would be secure, staffed with the right people, and you're not getting in without the correct process.
May I respond?
Sure.
No.
Okay.
But isn't that somewhat what this administration is attempting to do?
No, they're attempting to round up everybody who got in under Biden and get them out. Admirable task, but I think it's going to be impossible.
No.
But something has to be done.
Yes.
I'm telling you what I would have done.
Okay.
That's all.
How about
that probably
going
makes me a euphorian.
after the criminals, like, what we campaigned on? Go after the criminals who are illegal immigrants. Get rid of them.
If
Got
you
no
commit a
problem with
crime and you're here illegally, you will be deported.
Yes. And we're sending anybody who wasn't born here.
Well,
we're sending them
John,
to countries that don't even have governments at this point. There's a country in Africa I read about yesterday. We just sent 5 of them there.
John,
nobody can contact them.
I love you, We attempted to do that here in
excuse
Minneapolis,
something.
and look what happened.
Well, and you're going to have protests as long as you
Because
but
you're being protested by people who believe this should not be a country.
And you're also dealing with police forces and mayors and governors who are refusing to cooperate with that very attempt.
Okay, mine's a win-win. You're saying to the people here, you're here, you got here illegally, but you now have the opportunity to become citizens. But our borders are closed and they're secure. You've preserved the country and you've appeased the Mysterians to stop protesting.
Are they all on the same level playing field? What about somebody who came here 10 years ago and has been working and has been a solid, citizen, but still illegal?
No.
Well, what about that person? Is that person higher up on the ladder?
That person gets to stay.
All right. Do you know of anybody who is a confirmed citizen who took their citizenship test and they're here legally, they have the paperwork, they've committed no crimes? Do you know of anybody of that nature that has been deported?
I do not.
I know people who think they're going to be deported, legal citizens.
Well, I certainly hope they're not.
I know a governor who thinks he's going to be arrested.
I know, that's so funny.
See, and that kind of BS doesn't help.
Right?
No.
With this idiot saying I'm going to be arrested,
Well,
that does not help.
That's why I brought it up. He's feeding into those fears.
Right.
Again, then the president shouldn't say he wants to arrest a governor.
Right.
Well, then a governor should do his bleeping job.
He's
But on
doing
the-
his job.
On the flip side, when
I'm
some-
sure there's
know
plenty of
that.
reasons to find my
think-
solution problematic.
Is there a president who thinks a fake mayor of a make-believe town should be arrested?
Yes.
I don't think this is a
If you
problem.
don't like America, then you can get it.
that we can solve the five of us, since apparently the entire country.
Yeah.
Well,
We're
Joe's
just-
theory would
sorry.
work if everyone agreed to it and everyone obliged, but it's never going to happen.
But
is
you
the
make
problem.
it happen
Oblige
by
me.
making the border impenetrable. You're done sneaking in. That's
Well, the numbers
done.
have gone down, right? Significantly.
Drastically, yes.
During
done.
the Trump administration.
And if you're here, damn it, you got past us.
Right,
But
because there was
now-
no opposition about securing the
there
borders
wasn't.
either.
Now become a citizen.
So, but we got half of what you want done. So let's work on the other half.
Well, the other half would be withdrawing the ICE raids. Right?
Okay. You should
Hey, if you're
run
a bad
for,
guy, raise your hand.
You should run for fake president of the real United States.
Yeah, right.
You just keep thinking, Butch. That's what you do. Thank you, Johnny.
Yeah.
I want to tell you about Sioux Falls.
Speaking of borders,
There is a border, but it's ignored. So you can drive right into Sioux Falls, right across the border. There's no checkpoint. If you're thinking about expanding your business, moving your business, starting a new business, you might want to consider Sioux Falls, South Dakota, with no personal or corporate state income taxes. Sioux Falls is growing. Almost 300,000 people. It has a large, well-educated workforce. The cost of living is low. It's centrally located with wonderful and continuing to be developed industrial parks. Contact the Sioux Falls Development Foundation. They'll set you up with the information you need. Best small city for business and careers, as chosen by Forbes magazine. Empower calls it the #1 most affordable city. No state, corporate, or personal income tax. No inheritance tax. No limits to what your business can achieve in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Check it all out at SiouxFallsDevelopment.com.
Here's a guy that's ready to go.
It's time to play Love in a Hardware Store.
Nope. I got an interesting note from Bill Stein in Aiken. Personal safety in a country is important to understand before taking any vacation. And a new report spotlights how some Caribbean countries are safer than others. Anguilla, where we're number one, with its many beaches and bustling culinary scene, has earned new recognition as the safest country in the Caribbean.
Really?
According to a new report from World Population Review. The rankings were generated as part of the organization's Global Peace Index, which reviews crime activity, safety and policing expenses, political stability, and more. Anguilla crime rates are the lowest in the Caribbean, with very few violent and petty crimes to mar its reputation as a tropical oasis. Known for its 33 white sand beaches, travelers from around the world find a mix of peace, solitude, and adventure throughout Anguilla, where GL is number one. The country is also acclaimed for its golf, complete with a Greg Norman-designed golf course on the island. Good luck, Bill Stein. It doesn't get any better than that, does it?
I want to
number
go.
one.
I want to go.
So do I. I want to do a show there for a week.
Let's go golfing.
Well,
you and I, we can, huh?
I think we need to go down there, the whole staff, and do the show for a week.
We should start thinking about taking Fridays off.
The trick is to get somebody to pay for that.
That's true.
Only because they come to us all the way from Barcelona, Spain, where I hope the traveling Lymans are hunkering down because the Barcelona region of Spain is going to be suffering some severe weather.
Really?
I was noticing on a radar map. On this day...
Joe, today is October 9th.
Well, on this day in 1846, Jacob Schmidt was born in Bavaria. Schmidt opened a major regional brewery in St. Paul in 1855. The Jacob Schmidt Brewing Company was just horrible beer, was bought by G. Heilman Brewing Company, which in turn sold the brewery to Landmark Brewing in 1992. I think all of it's gone now. On this day...
Does Schmidt still exist?
No,
at all?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh.
On this day...
October 9th.
In 1876, at a Kandiyohi County rally to support greenbacks rather than gold as the national currency, candidate for Congress Ignatius Donnelly gave a speech. Boy, that's not much in the way of history, is it? On this day,
October 9th,
in 1933, the bones, I remember this one, the bones of Browns Valley Man were found in a Traverse County gravel pit that was likely the burial site between 8,000 and 12,000 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. On this day,
Joe, today is October 9th.
In 1949, a statue of Leif Erikson called Discoverer of America and sculpted by John K. Daniels was dedicated on the explorer's holiday, the result of a 10-year fundraising campaign by the Leif Erikson Monument Association. The 13-foot bronze statue was located on the grounds of the Capitol in St. Paul. I'm sure that's gone, isn't it? He had to do something wrong. Leif probably was a misogynist or something. I have no idea.
I don't know either.
On this day,
Joe, today is October 9th.
1979.
79.
Rose Totino patented her crisp crust frozen pizza crust, an improvement on what she called the cardboard crust pizzas that were available at the time. Well, she wasn't wrong. The Northeast Minneapolis entrepreneur had sold Totino's finer foods to Pillsbury in November of 1975 and had become a vice president in the company. By 1992, Totino's controlled 20% of the frozen pizza market.
Is that where we get Totino's pizza rolls in all seriousness?
Yeah.
That's right, Chris.
Cool.
Attaboy.
Totino Grace.
On this day in Minnesota sports disappointment history.
Who'd we lose to, Joe?
What's the date?
October 9th.
The Twins are 0-6 on this date, October 9th. 1965, 1991, 2002, 2004, 2009, 2010. The Twins have never won on October 9th.
Oh,
91. I suppose we probably lost.
That's your last item?
No, Kenny, it isn't.
Wow.
Can I have another date, please?
Joe, today is October 9th.
2004, the Twins lost to the Yanks in the ALDS.
Oh.
On this date.
October 9th.
2009. Phil Cuzzy's famous blown call on Mauer's ground ball on ground rule double.
Why do you do this to me?
Cost the Twins a run and possibly the game. And finally,
speaking of Totino Grace, Joe Mauer.
Well, see, that was October 9, 2004. The Twins lost the Yanks. October 9, 2009, Phil Cuzzy blew it. Twins lost the Yanks. October 9, 2010, Twins swept by Yankees in ALDS.
Yeah.
Damn Yankees.
I think now would be a good time for all of us to gather, hold hands, bow our heads, and thank the good Lord for the humiliation that the Yankees suffered last night.
God
Amen, brother.
God bless the Blue
Amen,
Jays.
brother.
Thank you, thank you.
Amen.
A lot of Schadenfreude going on in this room.
What does that word mean? I don't even know.
It means you take great glee in someone's misery.
Yeah, well, I got the
What's the
Schadenfreude.
fancy word?
Logic Podcast.
That's the name of our ball team, by the way.
The Schadenfreude.
I thought we were the Gucci's.
All right, thank you, GLers.
Hey, do us a favor if you haven't done so already. Hit
Yeah?
subscribe on the Garage Logic YouTube channel, where there you can join the 18,000 subscribers that we have on the Garage Logic YouTube channel. You can also see full segments. There's video shorts, there's behind the scenes footage, and you can watch the show each and every single day starting right around noon, but it's all there for you. Just search Garage Logic on YouTube and search for us on all of our social media channels, which includes Facebook, Instagram, and X. And also sign up for the Daily Logician. That email comes right to your inbox each and every single day, and it includes the most recent episode of the podcast. Find out more and sign up today at garagelogic.com.